Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing. How's Matt? Are you there? Are you able to hear me?
Hey Dino, yeah, we can. Yeah, you just give me a second to figure out the sound.
Okay, cool, lovely. Thank you. I'm actually logging on my PC. I just found the connection here. Adrian, nice to see you. Tandeka, nice to see you too. You guys get used to your spots, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, but we're all sitting up front. We could sit right at the back.
Why be a bench?
Ah.
They should be able to. Yes, yes, because the thingy there's on.
I didn't know.
Hey, very small group today.
Yeah.
We can improvise.
My hair does look scruffy. I do apologize for it. It's been a little bit of a rough, wild morning. I'm just running downstairs to get a pen and piece of paper quickly, Matt. Sorry.
Sorry, Dino, just hold on a second. The speakers.
Hello.
Good morning, Linda. Cycle.
So, Matt, you're struggling with the connection there, but all over the place at the moment.
How old is
Okay. So that's Can you hear us online?
Can't hear anything at the moment on my side. Kuswa, how's it? Morning. I actually need to put sound on. I'm muted.
Morning.
There you go. That's why I'm not hearing anybody. I'm on mute.
How are you?
No, good in yourself. Good.
I'm well, thank you.
I think Matt's struggling down there on site, but I'm the one struggling here with my PC on mute.
Same here. Like, oh, better it's on mute. My PC is so slow. I need to upgrade. I'm joining Matthew next meeting.
Yeah, there's no delay when you're in person.
Yeah.
That's better. Ugh, maybe that dark hobble. There you go.
Anybody hear me online?
It's a little bit faint on my side, Matt, but yeah, just.
One source of sound today, so speaking might need to
Yeah, okay.
from both sides.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. Can somebody say something for me, please?
Just one thing or many things. As we just carry on talking. Zoom user, who's that? Adrian, can you say something? Adrian, can you hear me?
Let's continue.
Yeah, Matt, I can hear you.
Right.
Kind of. There you go. I don't know if I'll be able to hear Adrian while you talk. No.
You guys hear Dino from here. Dino, can you say something?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm busy looking at music.
Okay, cool. I'll figure out the sound as we go through the meeting. All right, Sergeant at Arms. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ayanda. Good morning, Dino. Good morning. Who else do we have? Tanya, Zoom user, and Koliswa. I heard something about my name coming up there, Koliswa. Did you say you're coming to our next in-person meeting? Okay.
Yes, I did say that. I will be joining you guys next meeting.
Woohoo! See, we're all celebrating. Yeah. All right. So for today's meeting, everyone, we're going to be doing things a little different. Today, the president will not be opening the meeting, but we will have a member of the committee opening the meeting. And on our agenda today, that would be Adrian. So Adrian will do the opening and the welcome, and we will then go on to the purpose of today. And you always speak. We'll pop that in the chat. But for now, let's welcome Adrian to.
Stand where you were standing. It's nice to be. Oh, look at this. You can knock me on the head if I ramble on too long there. I'd like to open today's meeting, and I wish I had the spiel in front of me that I need, but I don't have it, so I just have to do things by impromptu. Now, today's meeting, I've got to certainly decide as to what the theme of the meeting is today. So can I come up, Mr. President, with a theme for the meeting? And I'm going to have this theme as part of the table topics. I'm going to call it "What's on Your Mind" is the theme for today. And the word of the day is, let me think of a good word, what's on your mind? Stress. So that's the word of the day, stress. And the theme is what's on my mind, and it'll also be the theme for the table topics for the day. And let's start right away. We do have a speaker today. Tandeka is doing the social speeches. Do we go directly into the speeches? Oh yes, welcome, particularly they're joining us. Did I understand she was going to come live? She's online. So anybody who's online, you're very welcome today. We can't supply you with a breakfast. You have to make your own breakfast. But let's make a start. Is that okay? I would like to welcome to the. Oh, I got to introduce the role players. That's a good point because we didn't have any role players. But I'm going to. What's the first one? Who would like to be an R-counter amongst us today? Any volunteers for being an R-counter? We got Tandeka who's volunteering. She's also giving the speech today. R-counter, timer. We need a timer. Who wants to do the timing?
I'll do the timing.
Okay, so
knows the general
Matt is doing Matt is going to be the timer. Who else have we got? Dino, you volunteered, I believe, to be the general evaluator today.
Okay.
That's okay with you. What else have I missed? We had the
grammarian.
grammarian.
Yeah.
Who's the grammarian? Any volunteers? I'll take on. Anybody would like to volunteer?
I don't mind being the grammarian. That's why I went for to get a piece of paper and a pen. So I'm happy with that.
Okay, well done. Thanks, Dina. You're a star today. And who else do we need to have? You know, this is when you get to my age, your memory starts to go a little bit as to what's going on. Anything else, Matt? Okay, we're all done. And I would like to sort of welcome our first speaker for the day, Tandeka. And she is doing the second part she's doing the social speeches. And this is speech, which number is it, Tandeka?
It's number 2.
It's number 2 speech, part 2 of the number 2 speech. And the title of her speech today is a eulogy, a eulogy. I think it's for her father. So, Nteke, welcome. We look forward to your speech.
Thank you. What's the timer? Christina? I'm waiting for me to sit down. Okay. You okay? Yeah. Why the long faces? I know you're here for my funeral, and I know you're here. You're sad, but please, not the long faces. Even the people online, I can see the long faces online. That is what my father would have said. That is a typical statement that would have come out of his mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm here to deliver the eulogy of my father, Mr. Mavambangi. Be colorful, be joyful. Yes, like this dress that Thandeka is wearing, for those who can see. Be joyful, be happy. My father, the teacher. Oh no, not that kind of a teacher. I know it's no secret that he never had a teacher's degree, nor did he teach at any school. We know he was in the finances. However, all of us here would agree that my father imparted lessons to us, either through interaction with him or just by observing what he had to say. My father was born in 1947. He taught us valuable lessons. He was the last of 5 kids. Although we know that my grandmother had 7 kids in total, but only 5 lived. So he was the last born kid and he was spoiled. However, through his life, he taught us hustling. My brothers, some of my siblings that grew up with him, because I didn't, they said that my father would withhold money from them, not give them money for critical things. And through those lessons, although they were angry and hated children, but through that, they learned to be self-sufficient and hustle. But thankfully, they didn't steal. All my brothers have no criminal record. All of them, they went to school, but they know how to hustle for themselves the correct way. Can I press this later? My father was also a fighter. My father stood up for himself. He was a no-nonsense guy. Even when he was wrong, he would just continue with his nonsense or his standpoint. But later, some people told us that he would later come to you and apologize. Find a way to apologize and say, look, I'm sorry I offended you, but this is why I said this. I'm reminded of the time when we had my aunt's funeral. My father he held a position at church, an official position at church. And the family insisted on a particular program for the funeral. And they just didn't care what my father thought. And he tried to resist, but they just decided and printed the program because they were in charge of the program. What did my father do? He stood up at church and said, oh, there's a program that you have in front of you. Don't worry, it has now changed. that item there, item number so-and-so is now, it reads as follows. And that was it. And the program continued. And all of us were like, wow, did you see that? So that was my father for you. And when he was sick, because he's somebody who liked to hide his pain and pretend as though he's got everything under control, he didn't tell us about the true cause of his illness. And we learned very late that he had a cancer, and that was at a very late stage. So that was my father. For he wanted us to remember him as a strong man. Thank you very much.
Ndeka, that was amazing. Well done. Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tendeka, for your speech there. Now, can I have, who's the timekeeper? The timekeeper's report?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. The timekeeper's report, Tendeka's speech was 3 to 4 minutes. Tendeka delivered his speech in 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay, that sounds pretty good there. And just remind me again, what did I say was the theme for the day? What's on your mind? And what was the word?
Stress.
Threats.
Stress.
Stress. And this is one of the things about being a senior citizen in Toastmasters. And one of the beautiful things about Toastmasters is everybody's very kind to me when I mess up, which is on a regular basis. And now I'm having to rely on Matt to help me out here. What was the next thing that I had? Table topics. Can we get straight onto the table topics there? And I think I'm the table topics master. So the table topics, well, let's have some volunteers first of all. Who would like to be a volunteer?
I'm in. I have no idea what the theme of the day is or anything. I'm so far behind. So I will volunteer before I'm voluntold. But what is the theme of the day? If you don't mind catching me up. I haven't even seen the agenda.
What's on my mind? So it gives you a lot of flexibility. What are you worrying about at this point in time? Or have you got any strong ideas?
Okay.
Just anything that comes to your mind.
Okay, so you can add me to the list. I'm in when you're ready.
Okay, anybody else?
I'm more than happy to join this. Why not?
Tendeka is going to participate, and of course Matt will participate. And I know Dina will participate.
Pick me also, pick me. Don't forget about me.
Carl as well, you're volunteering. Anybody else?
You can pick me.
Who's that? Kaliswa.
Kaliswa. Yes.
Okay, that's great. And Ayanda, are you volunteering as well? I think everybody's volunteering. I think
Yeah,
I
you're gonna have to
volunteered myself
voluntold.
as well. Can I do that?
I think I just have been, Dino.
Okay,
Very
so
good.
everybody's volunteering. So all I've got to do is decide, we go in the order. I'll start first and we go clockwise around the thing there. So what's on my mind at the moment? I think one of the things that's on my mind is the sort of stressful situation that I find myself in. Next Tuesday, it's not really terrible stress there, but you know, you do worry about trivial things sometimes. I'm off to Phuket on Tuesday for a whole month to visit my wife's daughter and family. And other members of her family from her first marriage are all getting together in Phuket to celebrate the 12th birthday of her daughter. So that's the one thing on my mind. I'm a little bit stressed about, you know, all the procedures you've got to get through with the PSR tests and staying in a hotel and everything else there. So there's a little bit of, that's one of the things that's on my mind. What's another thing on my mind at this particular point in time? Certainly the situation we find ourselves with Toastmasters is that we've only got 3 live people, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the screen there. So I think we're going to make it, and I must congratulate our president here, setting up this hybrid system. This is our 2nd meeting, and I think we're getting better each time. And Matt is facing all the challenges and doing very well. And that's where I would like to end. So let's hear what did I say the word of the day? Stress. So there was a little bit of stress in what I was talking about there. Next person, Dino. Dino, over to you.
Well done, Adrian.
What's on your mind?
Before I start, I just want to make sure, can everyone see me? I'm not too dark because I've got lighting all over the place. Okay.
Can't see you at all, hey, Dino.
Sorry. Ah, there you go. That's better.
Now we can see it.
Thank you, Adrian, for the topic of the day. What's on my mind? I recently started a new job. It's all the way in Alberton. It's a 45-minute drive in the morning, smooth sailing. Honestly, it's as soon as I jump onto the highway, it's 120 kilometers in the fast lane, and I'm able to just relax. And that's one of the things I've been missing during COVID is that time between leaving home when the family are running about doing the things that they have to do, and then the work time. That 45 minutes is been so relaxing and enjoyable. And I used to have a habit of listening to a podcast on specific topics that I'd be interested in. And I really missed that time. And I'm just so happy that I've got that time back whereby I'm able to listen to different thought-provoking individuals, and I'm able to just think about what they're engaging with within the world. The most recent one was a conversation between Tim Ferriss and Mark Zuckerberg. And I just get absolutely fascinated the way that Tim Ferriss interviews the people on his show. It's so engaging, so refreshing just to hear how the participants are able to create an amazing, engaging podcast that you are completely immersed within. And I am completely engrossed in these conversations just because it's one of the topics that I need to tick off on Toastmasters. So I've been trying to identify snippets of how are these conversations created and how they're maintained through an hour and a half podcast. And how are you able to keep engaged within that conversation? So that is on my mind at the moment. Enjoying that 45-minute drive, but then also engaging my mind into how I can adopt that 45 minutes into my life going forward. And I've been really enjoying that. And hopefully I'm able to use those snippets in my next topic, my next Toastmaster speech. Thanks, Adrian, for the table topic session. Over to you.
Oh, Dino, yay!
I'm already sitting, sorry. So I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, who should I start with people in okay. changing me on view. Did you need to change me? Or? Yes. Okay, I sort of carry on now, but I think we got Dina has sort of volunteered, and I think being a president from the last year, let's have the president from this year. So I'm going to call upon. I was going to call Matt, but the boss has told me. Tanya, would you like to talk
Tanya.
about
Yep, it's over to you.
what's on your mind? And the word of
Alrighty.
the day is rest.
Thank you. My mind is fried at the moment, so don't start the timer yet. Thank you, Adrian, Master of Ceremonies or whatever it's called. I'm finished at the moment. All right, here we go. Thank you very much for the platform. Stress, stress, stress. It is something that consumes me. I wake up generally around 4 in the morning, and I almost wake up in a stressed mode, and I've crunched my jaws or grinded them for so long that I have a headache. What I have not realized, and it's been quite an emotional week. My parents have returned back to the UK. We dropped them at the airport and they flew off around midnight. So it's been quite a long week. My mum packs for 5 days, guys, it's terrible. But they dropped them off last night. And I find it very interesting. What's on my mind is in the last 5 days, I found it amazing that suddenly the family wanted to squeeze everything into the last 5 days. Dinners, lunches, breakfasts, drop off Woolworths. I don't know, it was crazy. And I stressed about the fact that that was happening and my entire world was no longer under control. And then what's interesting is I find myself now stressing about the fact that I was worried about stuff like that. So what's on my mind now is how do you manage stress? Forward stress, historical stress, when you're supposed to be trying to live in the present. So what's on my mind is, Tanya, please, 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 I beg of you to live in the moment. Even though I was 15 minutes late for the meeting because I could not log on, I tried to focus on the fact that I could walk away and just go and do stuff because there's so much stuff to be done, or live in the moment, be present, join my Toastmaster colleagues, and let stress just flow past me. At the moment, it's flowing through me, and it's quite painful. Thank you very much. Adrian, back to you.
Writing down vigorously being grammarian, I have to capture all those little snippets, Tanya. Fantastic.
There were some ums and ahs and the usual nonsense. I'm working on this.
That's somebody else's job, so don't worry, I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay, am I coming back on spotlight again?
Yes.
Can
Thank
you
you
see
very
me?
much.
I'm in the bottom left-hand corner there. Ayanda, can you go next, please? So it's all about what's on your mind, and the word of the day is stress. Over to you, Ayanda.
Good morning. Can you all hear me? Can you see me?
Yes,
Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
Perfect.
On my mind is growth. What's on my mind, what's been on my mind for the last couple of months is growth. I have found myself in a situation where I am uncomfortable in my comfort zone and I am searching for more. I know that there is more, hence I joined the Toastmasters group. And stress. I was stressed about two things this morning. Sorry, one was joining this class or this forum. This is the first time I've done something like this. So I was a bit unsure and stressed about it. The second one is my 13-year-old has a crush and I'm crushed. I don't know how to deal with that. So that's what I'm stressing about this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Lovely. Well done.
Right. Who we got? This one on there. Yes, this one. Kaliswa, it's your turn next. Just remind you again, it's all about what's on your mind, and the word of the day, which I know everybody will say, is stress. Thank you, Ayanda.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. What is on my mind lately, and it has been stressing me a lot, is vaccinating. As someone who's working for a company, eventually I would be required to get vaccinated. I am really conflicted, as I feel I am not ready to get vaccinated. Just because of fear of side effects and the fear of what would my health be like after getting vaccinated. So with companies, it's either you choose to resign or you get vaccinated. So I feel like there could be other options that would cater for both parties, but I'm really conflicted and I don't know what to decide, because on the other hand, I do want to work. That's how we live. You have to work, you have to get money and get by. Do I want to resign? No, no ways. Resigning is not an option. So I feel like I'm at a space where I would be doing something that I am not ready to do, not because I'm totally against it. I feel like I need some time to observe things and get to a point where I am relaxed and willingly go and do vaccination. Thank you.
Well done, Kaliswa. Thanks for sort of opening up on a subject which is difficult. But I can just tell you that my wife had a reaction, just a stiff arm. That was the thing else. All I can say is everybody who's had the COVID injection hasn't suffered in any way at all. But it's your decision. I'm sensitive to the dilemma that you find yourself in. And now. Oh, the Zoom user. Who's the Zoom user? Bottom right of my screen. Have we got a Zoom user?
Well, we all are Zoom users, but you're asking for that name.
I don't have a name for somebody else who's on there. I'll count to 3 slowly, and if nobody volunteers, then I'll call on the last remaining. You haven't done your Tandika. Okay, you did the speech there. This is one of the great things about, being fast approaching 80 here. Your mind gets a little bit forgetful at times there. But one of the beauties of Toastmasters is, it doesn't matter what your age is, you get a feeling of camaraderie and you don't fear at all about messing up after a while. Yeah. So Tandika, over to you in terms of telling us all about what's on your mind right now. Can't you? Okay.
Mr. President, Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. Table Topics Masters, our Toastmasters that are here, and our visitors. Good morning again. What is on my mind on this day? Quite frankly, I had a whole lot of things on my mind. And now what is key on my mind is settling down and having a plan again, because I had a plan of how I was navigating my life, how I was dealing with stress. And over the weekend, that plan just went down the drain. I found myself stressing and having all sorts of symptoms, to the point that today I'm using a tablet just to keep myself calm. But so now what is on my mind is getting off that tablet and restarting my life again, resisting stress. Stress, you are not my friend. Stress, you are not my portion. That is what is on my mind today, getting my life back on track again, being the Thandeka that I know, and following, working out and making sure that I deal with stress naturally, not through a tablet. Thank you.
It's very impressive.
Okay, thanks, Thandeka, and sort of opening up about what's on your mind at this particular point in time. For your information, I didn't get any ums or ahs there. There was a couple of words that were repeated, but thank you very much. Now, I think who's next?
Mr. President needs to be next. Mr. President.
Mr. President. Let's try the Zoom user again. Is the Zoom user? Are you prepared to speak? I can see that there's a hand raised there, which is rather nice. Zoom user, can you introduce yourself and tell me and tell everybody else here what's on your mind right now?
Hi, good morning. My name is Dineo. I got an invitation from Thandeka, so that's why I joined. Maybe just to start off what's on my mind today. In fact, it has been something that I was supposed to have done a couple of years ago. My husband died 5 years ago, and he left a land that we're intending to build a house for our children. So I've been postponing to do it. I have tried to find any excuse just to prolong the thinking about it. But now I realize that time is going, and I have not started on the things that we said we will do. And this year I went to the bank to get a loan. Everything was approved, but I still had not started. And now it's getting too much. It's actually giving me stress, if I can put it that way. I even had a builder. Everything has been approved from NHBRC. Basically, I just need to start. But I find myself not starting. So I think now I have taken a decision that I have to start. I think it's sort of like a fear, starting a big project on my own, but I think I have to do it and then just throw myself into it and see if what happens. And maybe I hope that it will come right. Thank you.
I think that's lovely.
Oh, Dineo. Well done.
Thank you so much,
well
Dineo. I know this was perhaps a difficult one for you there, but it's great to hear you. And I guess we all sympathize with the situation that you find yourself in. Well done. And I hope you join us again and again. You certainly, I know that you know Thandeka well. You're friends with her. I just found out now. And certainly we have a lot of fun. And I often mess up here, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter at all if you do mess up, because everybody knows the feeling, and we learn from each other as well. And now I think we have somebody left over now, haven't we? Matt, our president, is now going to tell us what's on his mind right now. And I'm sure, just to make sure that we have the word stress being said by everybody, So over to you, Matt, for a little talk on what's on your mind.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. What is on my mind? As I stand here in front of all of you, listening to all of you, the one thing that's on my mind is how great it is to be in the midst of such strong people. Hearing the themes that are coming up: stress, death, heartbreak, crushes. And here we are on a Saturday meeting, still gathered. What's on my mind? A feeling of gratitude. I feel grateful to be amidst people that are able to experience daily life stresses, both positive and negative, and still make it to a meeting and smile. I find it being on my mind that I'm grateful to be in the midst of people that are willing to be vulnerable in front of the club. So what's on my mind? Gratitude, more than anything. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be standing here. I'm grateful to be in the midst of vulnerable people. That's what's on my mind, Mr. Table Topics Master.
If there's enough time, I'd like to do a second one, if that's allowed, Adrian. Or
Yes,
Matt.
certainly. We'd love to hear your second thing that's on your mind. We wait in anticipation as to what it's all about. So over to you.
It's going to be totally different. So here goes. And I'm going to follow on from Matt. I need some hand signals from you guys. Who knows who Katy Perry is? Hands up. Who knows who Lionel Richie is? Gosh, you're all too young. Okay, I'm getting some hand signals. Who knows who Luke Bryan is? Country singer, American. They're all on America's Got Talent. They are famous people who earn millions of dollars. And they had a contestant come in. And I think it's just so interesting. What's on his mind is basically the contestant is basically nothing. He's a surfer. He just hits a beach, goes to the water, surfs. He comes in, and they have found out, the judges have found out, that they don't know who these celebrities are, who earn millions of dollars. He sings a beautiful song, and he's in like his own world, and he is the absolute opposite of stress. Stress just doesn't come close to him. The waves protect him. And they said to him at the end of his wonderful song, which really was very well delivered, they said, do you know who we are? And it's embarrassing. He thought the one was from How to Win a Million, Who's a Millionaire, or that contest. So he had no idea who he was singing to. And I think of the theme, and I think of all of our conversations and deliveries today. And because stress is so heavy on us, I think it's nice to remember that every now and then there are character world where stress just flows past them. They have no idea. They don't care about the multi-million rand people, the celebrities. They basically possibly wear, I don't know, the same clothes every day, hits the beach, does his surfing, relaxes, lies on his board, gels it down or scrubs it down. I don't know what they do. His life is so simple. And I think I remember him often when I'm dealing with a stupid thing that actually is not that stressful. And yeah, learning to live life, I think we should try and remember that. And be the surfer. Let the waves just blow over you. Thank you.
Well done, Tanya. Well done.
And you're having a second go there. There was one thing that I found
something different.
Yeah, thank you.
How are we for time?
You love the ocean, eh? You really do.
Can you do 2 more? Anyone? Yeah, what was on my mind as well, and I'm pretty sure, I was surprised that it didn't come up, the situation that we find ourselves in with regard to the Ukraine and Russia. Would anybody like to tell us what's on their mind in terms of the way the situation is going to proceed, and any views there? I'll start. Because it's certainly been on my mind, and particularly I think in terms of a follow-up to the book I've recently read, which is Red Alert. I may have mentioned at the last meeting there, that you certainly get the impression that Vladimir Putin is not a nice man, and he has no scruples in terms of annihilating people. People just disappear. Certainly in the Red Alert book, there was that situation there. And I think that the difficult situation that I find is, how should things proceed? It doesn't look as though Mr. Putin is going to back down at all. And we know the people in Ukraine are actually fighting a bitter battle all the way there. And I have sort of thoughts, why doesn't somebody, all these dictators in the past, they usually sort of get assassinated or somebody murders them or something else there. And I find it very difficult to strike a balance. What I would like is everybody to negotiate and live happily ever after, but that's not going to happen there. So that's on my mind, and I've got no answers to it, but I do worry about it. Thandeka, you wanted to.
Thank you again, Mr. Table Topics Master. For me, the Ukraine-Russia situation has really shocked me in terms of human nature, and not just looking at Russia and Putin, but also the reaction, the global reaction. It's shocking to the point that I think I mentioned that my son is into history and stuff like that. So he really is keeping tabs on the stories. And I've asked him not to tell me anymore because it's just unbelievable. It's gruesome. And I'm actually shocked at ordinary human beings that we can, in 2022, we can have a situation like this happening. And I know we also have similar situations in Sudan, Tigray, and all over the world, and Afghanistan. But it just teaches me, it has taught me something about the human race. Thank you.
Teaching me about the human race.
Thank you, Thandeka. Okay, let's sort of go through. So that's myself and Thandeka. Tanya, would you like to speak? What's on your mind in terms of the situation that we find ourselves in?
Adrian, I do have multiple personalities, but I think 2's enough. Asking for a third one to come out today. Too much.
Adrian, you know what? You were really bad at timekeeping and keeping in time, but now this is just getting ridiculous. Your taking of notes is horrible.
Who have we had? We've had myself and Thandeka, haven't we?
Yes.
And Tanya's, yeah, she's done a second one, has she? Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna have to start putting it in your place. Being nice to family is sometimes you shouldn't be too nice.
Okay. What's your views, in terms of the Ukraine-Russian situation?
Me? Am I going to be put on the spotlight?
It's punishment, Tino. He's punishing you.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've got mixed emotions about this, but I'm going to take the one that no one would. And it is, Thandeka, you mentioned that your son is learning about, he's very involved in the history of man. And I would be surprised that you're only thinking that humanity is a very horrible race now because of the Ukraine war. Sorry to tell you this, but ever since man has actually, oh wow, once we were walking on all fours, and then we started walking on our two legs, we have always been fighting. We've been fighting for our lives since the year dot. So to a certain point, I kind of expect that humanity, I don't think will be changing anytime soon. And just because with regards to the way that the world is connected, there's over 7 billion people. And the way that the news makes its money, we are always going to be shown that there is horror in the world. There is going to be fighting, there's going to be deaths, there's going to be murders. So it is a very hard place to be living in today, just because of the way that news is filtering into our lives. But I'm going to tell you something. Over the last 2 years of COVID, the best thing I've ever learned is unsubscribe from the hourly news, unsubscribe from newspapers, and start getting yourself involved in the individuals that inspire you and want you to do more and do better. And trust me, the world becomes a lot better if you start subscribing to those notices. Because I'm going to tell you now, in today's age, it is the best time in history to be alive. If you were a king back in the 1600s, you would not be able to have the lifestyle you would have today. So they had access to all the resources in the world, but they weren't able to have the life that we have today. So it kind of puts things in perspective. And if we keep on understanding that news makes their money through keeping us gripped in fear and sorrow and horror, and you unsubscribe from that and start subscribing to the people that you want to aspire to, you will become a lot better. Thank you. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, Tino. That was very thought-provoking, especially in terms of focusing more on the good things in life and rather than the terrible things going on in the world. So thank you, Dina, for that one. And I think it's now a time for our tea break. We'll be back again in 10 minutes time. So enjoy your break and we'll see you in 10 minutes time. Thank you.
Just a question before we run off. Who will be doing the evaluation with Thandeka of Thandeka's speech? Is anybody would like to join me?
Yeah, I did volunteer, but if anybody else would like to volunteer in my place. Anybody would like to do Thandeka or?
Yeah, Adrian, I wouldn't mind. I'll join you in evaluating, providing that evaluation.
Okay. So how do we do that?
On the side though.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll let you take my phone, and then you can do the evaluation from there.
Okay.
I'll create a breakout room.
Okay.
Lovely, thank you.
All right, perfect. Ayanda and Dina, would any of you like to join into the evaluation room and see how the evaluations are done? Is one of the ways to see how we offer feedback within the Toastmaster space. Please let me know.
I would love.
I would like to do that.
Oh, was that both of you? Nice.
Cool, lovely, Matt. Thanks. Click the join button and good to go.
Oh, I think not in the era I'm getting confused. It's just myself and Dina. And Dina. Yeah. Are we all in a breakout recess?
Hi, Tandeka. Hi, Adrian.
Okay.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
We're all
We're
good.
good. I'm good, thank you. I'll be joining you guys. How does it feel to be on the site?
Very nice.
Come with me for
See
the
the view
evaluation.
here.
Sorry? The evaluation, breakout room for
Beautiful.
evaluation. Where do we go? Follow me.
And you can
Oh, follow me,
smell the
follow you.
coffee. You know, it's very nice. And it's,
Ah,
so
okay, nice.
So are we going outside? Sorry, then there's just the video was like,
Hopefully I'll be joining you soon, guys.
Yeah.
Max?
Also, you know,
Max?
Max,
Max, can you hear me?
Matt just stepped out, Tanya.
Okay, as long as it's gone on mute. Otherwise, we're listening to the evaluation chat. That's fine. Thank
Can
you.
you hear anything? I can't.
No, not anymore. I heard just now.
Yeah, they were walking out.
Okay, sorry. Sorry to interrupt your chat.
No, no, it's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, so. I can't qualify it, right?
You are a little bit
Thank
faint. Or is it my volume? Hello?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
The thing is,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
okay. Yeah, I think I was talking softly.
Well, you want to have to look at the inside. Talking to Clarissa, she can't even see you.
She can, oh, first I can see me now. It's frozen. What are you? What are you doing? What we did last time?
What are you gonna have? What? Oh, coffee and what is that? English breakfast, toasty. Some toast.
Yes.
Brown bread.
Brown field. Yes, yes.
Is everybody going for their break?
Yeah.
We can keep it unmuted and then when they come back. Fine. They might just be chilling in the background with their videos off, which I'm hoping is the case. Tanya, I'll speak to her when she gets back. So Ayana, friends of yours? Dinelle.
Dinelle, yeah. Remember gave the speech about the last time.
Is it?
And coincidentally, when I got to the event, I was asked to speak. I was like, oh, good preparation. Good preparation.
It's always nice to meet the people that we give speeches about that we only hear about in stories and then they come through and you're
Yes,
like, that's you.
that's you.
So do you stay away from politics, Thandeka?
No, I don't. I used to be very involved, and then I get closer to things, and then you realize.
Mm.
Because now I just feel like, like for instance, I used to.
Sure. Yeah, they were really vocal back then. And
Honestly, if it wasn't for them, I don't think there would have been a lot of pressure put on that man. But now I just realized that no man, these guys aren't anything. I think they're just chaos.
That's an interesting word to use. I think I've got everyone.
And errors.
Yarr, Thandeka. So the last time we heard your speech, you slowly trickled in to present your beautiful presentation. This time, you just threw us straight in and you showed us exactly who your father is. And then you explained why we're actually here to talk about his eulogy. Beautiful, beautiful way of just throwing us straight in. From the word go, I was engaged. Then just the way that you structured your speech on how your father is, the way that the different values he was able to give to the children, to your siblings, were just amazing. So I really enjoyed the way that you explained how he did these hard things in his life, whereby he held back money just so that he could teach your sons, your brothers, how to make a deal on the side, to be a little bit of a hustler, which is a very important skill set in life. And then you explained how he was a hard-headed man, where sometimes he stuck to his own guns, that yes, he probably knew he was wrong, but he just carried on. He just carried on that process. And yeah, let's just say a very interesting individual for me to come across. So thank you for explaining who your father is. And I really think the stories that you provided really helped us understanding who he was. So there are specific areas in Toastmasters that we evaluate. And one of the things which I've just highlighted now is the clarity of your conversation, of your speech, excellent. Your audience awareness and the content of your speech were outstanding. We were really engaged and immersed in the entire conversation. Nobody was disinterested and looking away or anything. They were really hooked by your comments, so your speech. So well done. And so we just want to say there's 2 areas of improvement that I would like you to, you've made the next step, but we want you to take even a further step forward is your hand gestures. So I've got the same problem whereby as soon as these propellers start moving, they don't stop. They just keep on flapping around, and then they're kind of a distraction. And so your gestures are there. They just need to be pulled in as soon as you don't have any use for them. The next thing is, so it was hand gestures. And so just when starting off your speech, we need to just make sure that you actually know your stage. And especially with this camera work, midway through the start of your speech, Matt saw that we only saw this top portion of your body. And then he slowly brought everything into spectrum, which was fantastic. So we need to just make sure that you just arrive a little bit early and make sure that if your camera needs to be changed during your speech or just before your speech, do it then and know exactly where you're going to be standing. But otherwise, fantastic. The way that you started off your speech really threw us in there, and you really got us hooked.
Okay, timer. Our content grammar.
Then secondly is you are a beautiful storyteller, and I just think it's amazing that you're able to put together the speech within 2 weeks and perform it at such a high level. So thank you for doing it and keep it up. You really are amazing. Thank you. Back to you, Adrian.
Woo! Thank you, Tina, for that exemplary evaluation there. And Becca, just in terms of the actual levels that you achieved, we were exemplary in clarity, vocal variety, interest, and the topic, content fits the topic and the type of social speech. You're exemplary there. You've got force, which excels for eye contact, audience awareness, and comfort level was 4. And as Dino has commented on, the one area you need to work on, which you scored 3, which is accomplished. It's an area that you need to work on as well. So that's the end of our evaluation of Becca's speech. And now I think it's with a little help from our president. It's the timekeeper. Timekeeper? Who's the timekeeper?
Timekeeper is our president. Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. So we did a really amazing on the times today. See my face, so allow me to sit down so you can see my face. We did really good on the times today. I will give the time starting off with the table topic session. From the table topic session, Adrian, first round, 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Second round, 1 minute and 10 seconds. Dineo, first round, we had you at 2 minutes and 30 seconds for your table topics. Then Tanya, first round, 1 minute 35. Thereafter, 1 minute 40. Nice. Ayanda, 58 seconds. Amazing as well. Well done. Those first time speakers really get beyond the 40-second mark. So well done for that one, Ayanda. Toliso, 1 minute 20 seconds. Tandeka, 1 minute 15, and then 1 minute 10 seconds. And then Dineo again. But Dineo twice. 1 minute. Okay, Dino. It was Dino. I don't have to know twice. It was Dino. It's the D and the I's. 1 minute and 10 seconds. Can I just correct myself quickly?
Yes,
Sorry.
you may correct yourself.
Dino's first round, 2 minutes, and his second round, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and then Dino was 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Okay,
Thank you.
well done, everybody. And,
That sounds a little bit better.
so we've done the timekeeper. Let's go for the unmarked counter. Yeah, the unmarked. Who was the unmarked counter? Okay, Tandeka. Where you go?
I'll do from here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so collectively as a group, I think we do huge. Collectively, we have 31 fillers. I remember the last time I checked, we were in the 60s.
Yeah.
Adrian, you had 3 stones, 1 1 air, and 1 arm. Dino, you had 4 ends, 2 souls.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Tandega. I can't hear you. Could you speak up a bit? Sorry.
You can just speak louder because the mic is here.
Is it?
Now, Matt, the mic is on your PC or on the iPad. One of the two. I can't figure out where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. That's nice and loud. Just turn this other camera, Matt.
It says it's been swapped. So can you hear me better now, Toliso? Hello? You can hear me properly. Okay. Sorry about that. I was saying, as a collective, I think our word fillers have reduced. We are now at 31. The last time I checked, we were in the 60s. Yes. Well done. So I'll start with Adrian. Adrian had 1 1 1 and 3 souls. Dino, you had 4 ends and 3 and 2 souls. So you've gone down on the souls and you catching up on the ends. With Tanya, you had 3 airs, 1 arm, and 1 soul. And I found that when you came back again, actually, Tanya, you started using fillers towards the end of your speech. At the beginning, when you were telling us how hectic things have been for you, there was nothing. There were no fillers. And then Ayanda, you had 1 R, 2 arms. I'm sorry, 4 arms. And also with you, it was towards the end. Poliswa, 2 R's and 2 arms. Tandeka, no fillers. I don't know, but I was told by my Toastmaster here that no fillers. Dineo, only 2 ends. Well done. Matt, no fillers. Well done. So that's it. Thank you so much. Yay.
Oh, yes, no. The grammarian. Who is the grammarian?
Oh, it's Dino.
Dino, the grammarian. Well done, Dino. Over to you, Dina, on the grammarian's role.
Thank you, Adrian. I have written quite a few notes, so I was trying to capture the best comments or statements that each one of you was able to make. So I would like to start off with Thandeka. Thandeka, you had a lot of descriptive language, and I want to just go through. I've got one highlighted so far. So teaching your father teaching your brothers how to hustle. So learn to hustle. In the story, I love that. Another one is that your father, some of the comments, he would go along a specific action, even though it didn't make sense. And only afterwards, he apologized for his wrong. Okay, Thandeka. No, sorry, this is Daneo. When during the table topics, when you're talking about the property, the fear on going on your own. You just needed to throw yourself into it. I could actually see yourself sitting there procrastinating and actually you picking yourself up and throwing yourself into the task. Love that, very descriptive. Tanya, you had a lot of descriptive actions. Crunching and grinding my teeth. You could really see the stress going into it. A 5-day pack. Yeah. Squeezing it all into 5 days. Please, please, please. Those 3 words grouped together, you could see that you just wanted to understand what is happening in that specific moment. So just highlighting, please, please, please. Live in the moment. Yeah, Yanda, growth. Yes, you spoke about you wanted to grow. You actually started feeling uncomfortable in that comfort zone. And what I loved was your 13-year-old had a crush and you were crushed. Then Matt, love this comment, being a mist with vulnerable people. A mist? Yeah, a mist. And then Tanya, I'm going to end with you, with the surfer, you and the love of the waves, the trend there. So your description of the surfer being protected by the waves. I love that description because you can see the surfer going under the water and being completely immersed by that white foamy waves. And lastly is Tanya, we need to all be the surfer and let the waves blow over you. So I guess you're talking about life and those things that don't mean anything to us specifically. Let those waves wash over you and move on. So thank you for everybody with those descriptive use of the English language. And it really helps us get involved in our stories if we do use nice, interesting, descriptive stories. So keep it up. Thank you. Over to you, Adrian.
Something like that. Thank you very much. Now we're going to call upon Dino again. I think you were at the role as general evaluator. You can perhaps give us a little bit of your interpretation, how did the session go today as general evaluator?
I'm going to do this differently. Let's open it up to the floor because I think I've spoken enough. I'll lead the discussion. And I would like to ask Tanya, Khuluiswa, Ayanda, and Dineo. I'm going to go in that order. If you can just provide us feedback on how you felt about the meeting and just how does it feel being online compared to being in person? Did you feel that you were included? And where are the areas that we could possibly improve the meeting in general? And yeah, let's just touch on those topics so we can move forward and improve. Tanya, over to you.
I think when you become a Toastmaster, I think we sign or commit to oaths or obligations. I'm not quite sure what the right word is. So from an overall perspective, the club has shrunk a lot, but I managed to get myself personally out of bed after a hell of a week and arrive. And one of the biggest commitments is arrive, participate, and give it everything you have. The members that are here today and visitors, guests, I missed that part. I think we all are trying as hard as we can. So from a general evaluation perspective, the harder we try, the luckier we get, and we will have more members join us over time. And we just need to keep pushing as hard as we can. I also love something that's been with us for a long time, which is agility. So there is no fear about arriving and only having one speaker where we should have 3 to 5. And I think even with one speaker, everyone chipped in and did their best to take table topics to the next level. Adrian, your best performance ever as Toastmaster. You were very in control. I don't know if Matt was guiding you in the background. Whatever coaching you've done or whatever it is that you have taken up, it made a fantastic improvement to your role. And being Mr. Toastmaster of the day is very challenging, keeping it organized, etc. And it was an amazing performance. But overall, I think everyone did very, very well. And I congratulate everyone on their arrival and their commitment. Dino, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Excellent. Khuluiswa, over to you. Areas of improvement for the club, please.
Thank you, Dino. I really enjoyed the meeting. Considering the times we live in, I feel like we're doing great, and seeing our guests, visitors, jumping in and taking up roles as being doing table topics. It's really fulfilling, because I remember when I started, it's something I wouldn't have done in my first meeting. So I really do see an improvement, and hopefully we will get more people joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent, thank you. Yeah, the harder we try, the luckier we get. Thanks, Tanya. Yanda, have you got any snippets for us where we can, what you found great and maybe where we can improve going forward?
This was my first meeting. It's already 2 arms. 3. I felt included, and I'm happy with the fact that I joined online, because I think if it had been an in-person meeting, I probably would not have been as engaging or as involved, because I'm generally a person who's shy and I don't engage very much. So I'm happy with this first introduction and the inclusion that I felt in this current session.
Excellent, thanks.
Oh, and I was petrified. When I thought about logging on. But as much as it wasn't in person, it also was very warm and welcoming.
Okay, well done. Thank you for that. Thanks for that feedback. It is much appreciated. Yeah, the in-person feeling is something that I do miss, because the breakfasts that, as you walk into that room, your nerves are kind of kicked out of your head by the smell of bacon and eggs. So unless you're vegan or a vegetarian, yeah, that is the instant cure. So yeah, thank you. And Dineo, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I started to unmute myself. I think there's quite a lot that actually I've learned. I didn't get much from Thandeka when we spoke yesterday. What was the meeting clearly about? But I think she wouldn't be able to explain it to me unless you become part of it. So now I think it's quite a good thing. I like the issue that you can introduce topic tables. So you can introduce any topic and you will feel comfortable and you won't be really judged, and it makes you comfortable. But I also would have preferred in-person meetings. I'm also a shy person, but I think it's more engaging for me when you see face-to-face. Yeah, but generally I really enjoyed the session. Thank you. And thanks, Thandeka, for the invitation.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dineo. Yeah, something that you did highlight is the need. Yeah, because how do you explain a meeting, a Toastmasters meeting? A lot of the times, when I do say I do Toastmasters, and a lot of the times people say, "Oh, you that cult that just claps a lot." Yeah, you don't really hear it online because Zoom actually cuts that out. But yeah, we do a lot of clapping, and it just helps reinforce the good improvements we're making over time. So yeah, Dineo, that is something that we in person you'll get that feeling. So thank you, guys. That is a very value-adding stuff that we got there, and. Yeah, we do have a new online website, which Matt has been able to set up. It's a fantastic website that we haven't had yet. We haven't had in the past. And it gives a lot of information on like videos on what Toastmasters is about. So we need to just start passing that link on to our guests and visitors. It'll really help out branch that gap. Thank you. Just an evaluation from my side, Matt. We need to just make sure that we start on time. That is something that is crucial that we need to maintain. But I do understand that there's a lot of technical little things that would catch you off guard at that last minute. So we must maybe think about doing a check sheet to make sure that all those little nitty gritties are in place. But keep up the good work from my side. I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. I agree with Dineo, in person's a lot better. So I will be there at the next meeting. Thank you. Over to you, Adrian or Matt, one of the two.
Okay, I first of all, I just want to say thank you to Tanya for those kind words. I do mess up on a regular basis, but those kind words certainly have an influence on me. And it also highlighted the agility of our particular club, because at the last meeting we weren't very prepared for the meeting, and today we weren't prepared at all, but somehow we had the agility to get things really going. So it's made a difference to me. So I can come along to the next meeting and everybody says, we do this role or that role. Oh yeah, I'll do it. So it was a good session. Finally, I'd like to sort of hand over to our president to wrap up for us. Over to you, Matt, to wrap up for us.
Well done, Adrian. Well done.
Well done, Adrian.
You're a little bit taller than Thandeka, Matt.
I am. Okay, perfect. Guys, can we first stand up, give a round of applause for Adrian and his amazing leadership in the meeting today. The second people that I would like to honor as well today is our guest. It's been a while since I was in a Toastmasters meeting and all the guests participated so enthusiastically. So can we please give them a round of applause for conquering the stage? Well done, Ayanda, and well done, Dineo. Definitely saw the courage, and we appreciate you for taking on the challenge. And thank you again. Guys, can you also stand up and give yourselves a round of applause? We're doing exercise today. That's what's going on.
Sorry.
What was that, Dino?
I'm doing leg squats, hey? Get the blood flowing.
You know, like Tanya was saying, I'd like to iterate that is just you guys showing up every week for the meeting and trying your best to show up and coming into the meeting and, like Dino was saying, being agile as well. That definitely, as you can all see, that definitely makes a major difference to the overall meeting. I guess each week when you do come to the meeting, that's pretty much what we expect of you, just to bring your best self. Like, just pitch up and make sure that you're here to have fun and do what you need to do. That way, if you're having fun and Tendeka's having fun and Dino's having fun, then we're all just having fun together. And I think that's what makes a great meeting. It's not about our Toastmaster coming through and making it fun. It's not about the timekeeper making it fun. It's about each of us having our individual fun and sharing that moment together. I think that's what makes a great meeting. But I definitely do want to appreciate all of you for making it to our meetings each week and for making today a success. So well done. All right, I'd like to move on now to on a point. Before I touch on this, I'd like to ask if anyone would like to mention anything on a point. No, go for it.
Okay, thank you. And I really would like to echo your sentiment in thanking our guests, because, and this is something that my friend Dineo doesn't know, and I'd like you guys to share it also with you guys, that our last, not this meeting, the previous meeting, I gave a speech, which was my social speech, and I gave a speech about Dineo, my friend Dineo of 25 years. Yes. And it was her birthday. And coincidentally, when I got to the party, I was asked to speak. So good preparation. So yeah, so I'm really happy that Dineo could make it, so that today you can make a connection between the person I was talking about and yes, thank you so much. Thanks again, Dineo, and for coming.
Yeah, I've got goosebumps. Well done, Tandeka. Well done. Standing up there and presenting. Excellent. Well done.
Yeah.
Welcome, the friend that we've heard about. Well, thank you, Tandeka. And Kaliso also had a guest today, Ayanda. Thank you very much for coming through as well today, Ayanda. Good. Anybody else on a point?
Yeah, yes. I just wanted to mention the evaluation session that we had today.
Normally you have evaluated maybe one other person, but we had a number of us sitting together there, and I think that's a brilliant idea. So we have and Dino ended up as being the general evaluator, but the idea of having 3 or 4 people to do the evaluation together with the evaluation leader, I think that's something which is worth thinking about in future, of having more than 2.
Cool. Absolutely. Thanks, Adrian. Bless you.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else on a point?
Matt, can you tell us about your recent engagements with Toastmasters International?
Oh, so yeah, thank you for reminding me, Dino. So this past week, Wednesday evening, we had our area contest, the Area H2 contest, which was absolutely amazing. I was the contest chair for the contest, and it was a really phenomenal experience. We've got some really great speakers within the H2 space, guys. So if you do get the chance to visit their clubs, I would strongly suggest it. So unfortunately, we had no members from the Bryanston Breakfast Club competing this year, but the other three clubs, Maristo, Fourth Dimension, and Sell the Sizzle, have done really amazing. For the prepared speech, we had Khadifile, who won the first round. She's from Fourth Dimensions. The evaluation, we had Rick Robenheimer, and then we had Clinton for the table topics. I'll post the names in the group so that you're all aware of who's actually going to the division, S division after this, the division finals. Then you guys can just help celebrate. But overall, guys, I would also suggest in future, if we do have contests, if you're not participating as a speaker or a contestant is the word I'm looking for, you can just participate as a role player in the meeting. You learn so many valuable skills just from working with other members from the different clubs. So if you can, I would strongly suggest using that as a way to build your Toastmasters portfolio or skill set. So yep, that's that on a point. Then the second thing I do want, someone raise their hand. Oh, no, sorry, that was not me. So second reminder, Madam Treasurer, could you please remind everybody what time of the month it is?
It is. I can hear you from here, right?
I think so.
The 31st. Date is the 26th of the month, and the subscriptions. Yes, thank you, Dino. I thought you're saying I must pick up. The subscriptions are due. We're supposed to pay to Toastmasters International by the 31st of March. So reminders have gone out. Thank you to those who have paid, and those who are still outstanding, please, if you can make sure that the money comes through and send your proof of payment to the email. If you can also copy the treasurer at Bryanston Toastmasters. That's the one. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Just so we all aware, we do have a few members that will be migrating or moving, either stopping their Toastmasters experience for the next few weeks or moving to a different club for time reasons. So in our last meeting, I did mention we had Dudu who was leaving us. You guys saw the messages in the group. We've got Fortune that's in the UAE and he's joining a club that side. We've got Abrina that will be moving to a different club in the week because of weekend commitments. And then we had Hugo as well. Thank you very much, Hugo as well, who would be joining in a different club. So guys, although they are leaving the space, please do continue to support them in their different environments. I think that would be really amazing of you guys. And then on the last note, and Kanyani, yes, and Kanyani is going to be taking a break from the Toastmaster space, but she will still be joining in for meetings when she can. Okay. On the last note, I'd like to ask, is anybody keen on leading our meeting next week? Not next week, our next meeting.
I'll be in Phuket, so it's unlikely.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. So Tandeka will be doing the presidential welcome next week, and we will meet a Toastmaster. Is anybody keen on being a Toastmaster for our next meeting? You know, saying something, it looks like a yes.
Yeah, I want to do a speech during the next session, so I'll do that.
Perfect. Tanya, would you be able to sort out an educational for us?
I am traveling quite a lot in April, so April's a bad month for me. The dates haven't been confirmed yet, but I can't commit to anything, unfortunately. Busy month.
That's all right. We will figure it out as we go through the week. So yeah, in conclusion, thank you guys for coming out, and thank you for joining our meeting today. I heard something really phenomenal this morning that I want to share with you just in closing. It was from a guy called Brad Lear, and he was talking about the importance of your communication skills. And he said the best investment you can ever make in yourself is the ability to communicate. No one will ever know how good you are until you're willing to open your mouth and speak your truth. The second thing that I want to share with you that I found phenomenal as well was from one of the Toastmasters that was participating. She had completed 7 levels or 7 projects in under 2 years. And when she was asked how she did it, she said, always remember that when it comes to public speaking, it's all about sharing your truth. That's why we're here as Toastmasters, for you to share your truth and share your life experiences. Every Pathways project that you can do, you can align to sharing your truth. And that's what I'd like to leave you guys with, just as encouragement for your speeches and stuff, and for the benefit of our guests. So being here at Toastmasters is not about trying to be perfect. It's about being able to share your truth, because that's what public speaking is all about. Being able to stand on stage and find the courage to speak up, share with us your stories. We want to hear your stories. And although we're evaluating your speeches, that does not take away from the validity of your speeches. And we do want to hear your stories. So that's what I'd like to leave you guys with. Think about it. How best can you continue sharing your stories as you complete your Pathways projects? And as you come into the space, how can you use sharing your stories to continue developing the skills that we are all here to develop? And that is our communication skills. In terms of confidence, I think you guys got that down. So Toastmasters is very proud of us. All right, guys. Oh, are we doing a victory dance? All right, have an amazing rest of your afternoon, amazing people. And okay, there we go. And I'll see you at our next meeting. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. See you.
Yeah, for me, that was a very special meeting.
Yeah,
It was. The fact you can handle it, you know.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Enjoy the win, Dino.
Yes, Matt. You need to pay for
What time do you
breakfast.
head down to Pretoria?
I'm only back on Monday.